Every year as the days get longer and the ice starts to melt from the lakes, I find myself getting really excited to hit the water. And my friends, while I consider myself a multi-species angler, at my core, I'm still a bass fisherman through and through. And there's one lure in particular that does better than any other lure this time of year: the jerkbait. Jerkbaits come in numerous shapes and sizes. They're offered in hundreds of colors, and they can cost as little as a burger from McDonald's or as much as a steak from Ruth's Chris. They can sink, they can float, they can even suspend, but one thing's for certain: this time of year, when the water's less than 50 degrees, they can't be beat. To be honest, I don't know whether the excitement I have for jerkbait fishing is because of the built-up desire to catch fish after a long winter, or if it's the fact that these baits truly draw such a unique strike. I have to believe it's the latter, because honestly, I get excited about all types of bass fishing, but there's just something so special about catching fish on a jerkbait when your fingertips are frigid and you're early on in the year. These are special baits right here. This bass fishing mini series is simple. It is a tribute to one of my favorite ways to catch bass. Welcome to Jerk Jerk Pause.
There's a fish. Yes, sir. I felt that. I felt that. That's what I've been waiting on. Jerkbait, baby, let's go. Golly. I know it's super windy, and that's why I'm here, honestly. Wind blown corner right here. Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, yeah. I knew this was the color. This was the color, my friends. And I'll tell you why here in a second. I'm going to talk about my favorite color selection for jerkbaits. Man, that's kind of a dangerous location for a hook. Hey, quit drinking the lake water. It's all dirty and gross. You got water in the house there, dog. Come here. Hey, quit that. All right, there's the jerkbait. There's a fish. Not a giant by any means, but chunky little bass. See you, buddy. Cool. I just said Karma should stop drinking the lake water. And what does she do right after that? She just yarfs. She just pukes. I mean, just a massive pile. Don't drink the lake water, okay? Sheesh. The conditions may deter a lot of anglers from fishing right here, right? You know, bank anglers a lot of times get frustrated with wind like this, but I'm telling you, for a jerkbait bite and other reaction style baits, this is a great thing. It's a little harder to fish the jerkbait properly, but I'll tell you, these fish are gonna be a little bit more active right here, and they should hopefully be a little bit more catchable. Not a fancy jerkbait by any means, just a KVD, around, I don't know, just under $10, I think. Solid little jerkbait though. I enjoy it. So I just got done with work and I've got maybe 30-40 minutes to fish, so just a quick little session here. But I just knew with the sun shining like this and that little bit warmer weather and this wind, I had to get out and try. Current conditions, we've got, the sun out, a little bit of clouds, but mostly just sunny. But the water is definitely really stained, and there's a lot of wind, so it's really churned up. So these fish are gonna have pretty low visibility, but fortunately there is sun. All in all, like I said, the water temp is probably 42, 43 is my guess. So because of these conditions, I opted for the gold black back with that orange belly. It's really gonna stand out in these conditions. Dirtier water, high sun, and then that wind churning things up. So I really like this color. I also like the fact that this is a little bit larger jerkbait. It's got a big profile to it. It's gonna displace a little bit more water. And that's important because if you can't stand out, the fish will never find it. Now, hopefully we can find another fish or two. This wind is really causing a lot of problems, but I trust that they'll bite because I already caught one, so I know I'll catch another. I know I will. I don't have a ton of time, like I said, so let's get back to it. Conditions like these are why a cheap jerkbait a lot of times don't work as well, because you can't hardly cast them in the wind. Having a decent weight transfer system on your jerkbait really helps in conditions like these. All right, I'm pretty hopeful for this spot right here. It might be still a little too early in the season, but I've had historic success in the spring, and the wind blowing in here is a great thing. I'm feeling real good. I think I'm gonna catch a couple in this little pocket right here. Oh, dadgummit. He just nipped it. Shoot, he did not get the hooks. That dingier water, hopefully he comes back. Dadgummit. That dingier water, he didn't get the hooks. He just nipped it. He was right by the bank, actually. I knew I'd get a bite here. Can't believe I missed him. 3 big old treble hooks. Completely missed it. I do think this is the right jerkbait for the conditions. I just think that given the silted up water and all the wind, they're gonna miss from time to time. The good news is I had a bite, and so I need to remember there's probably fish here. So if I just fish patiently and keep fan casting this area, I'll get another. I trust I will. There's a fish. What the heck? That was the weirdest bite. That was the weirdest bite. There's a big carp right here. Well, I didn't catch the carp, but my gosh, that was the weirdest bite. I went to jerk and he was just kind of there. I didn't even feel it at all. That was wild. You know, I've had bites like that before, but that one was just really, really unique. Okay, chill out, buddy. All right. Decent bass. That wind kind of calmed down, so now you can actually hear me. Sorry about all that wind. He kind of got it on the side of the mouth there. Like I said, these conditions make it harder for these fish to track a bait. And it also kind of make it harder for us to fish a bait properly. To tell you the truth, look at that. He's chunky. He's like super short and just super fat. Little football. Gotta love it. Got a small mouth for his size. One thing I really don't like about this wind is it's so much harder to present a bait when it's out there on a long cast, because the wind continues to bow my line, push my line around, and I don't really have a lot of confidence that my bait is sitting properly in the water. Both of the fish I've caught today have been pretty close to me, and I think that's just because I'm able to manage my line a little bit better against the wind. If I get my bait out there, you know, 50 feet in front of me, unfortunately my line's just taking a beating from that wind and it's just throwing off the action of my jerkbait. I'm sure I'm around more fish, but it's just hard to keep it in the strike zone. Gotta imagine we can catch one more, just one more. I always say that, just one more. I catch one and then I say, just one more, I gotta get one more. Then I catch another and then I say, one more, one more. Honestly, part of the reason I also like this jerkbait is because of that bright orange belly. This time of the year, the yellow perch have such bright orange colors to them, and I'm pretty darn sure that the bass really gorge themselves on some of the small yellow perch in this body of water. So I have a feeling that that's something that's attracting these fish. I don't remember what we're eating for dinner tonight, but I'm excited about it. As you guys know, I'm always talking about food, and I'm always excited for dinner, like that much more excited when you go out and fish a little bit. I don't know why. Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. Oh baby, there's more than one here, baby. Let's go. Let's go. That one hit it kind of like the last one, just kind of when I went to jerk it and he had it. That's right, baby. Oh, another nice one. Not giants today by any means. All healthy fish though. Okay, please don't hook me. He's like, you hooked me, bro. All right, yeah, they're kind of getting it weird, and I really think that's because of the conditions, like I said, but I do still think, how many times have I said it? I do still think this is the right color. I don't think I have any other jerkbaits in the box that would work very well in these conditions. Just don't have a lot of colors that really stand out in that dirtier water with the high wind. There we go. There we go. Give me my jerkbait back. Another one, boys. Let's go. Yes, I love jerkbait fishing. I just love it. Yes. I knew I'd find a fish here. It's funny, it took me several minutes before I actually caught one here, but now I've caught two. Pretty cool. Okay, I gotta go back up, eat dinner, hang with the family, but I am gonna wrap this video up and really talk about how I like to select colors. So why don't we go do that now?
I would argue that jerkbait color selection is more important than any other lure out there. Now the main reason is in the early spring when the water temperatures are still cold and the bass are still finicky, you oftentimes have to pause your jerkbait for a long period of time. And what does that do? Well, it gives the bass more of a chance to look at it, and then also it gives them more of a chance to turn away. So if you get the color right, they're less likely to turn away and more likely to bite, and you're more likely to catch more fish, and that's what we're all looking to do. So really there's a couple of things that I take into consideration when it comes to selecting a color of jerkbait, and they're actually pretty simple. Number one, water clarity. Number two, sun penetration. Between these two things, that often helps guide me to a color so much quicker, and it allows me to catch more fish and less time re-rigging, so that is obviously always ideal. That being said, I obviously recommend always experimenting on the water because it never hurts to try different colors, and sometimes you're gonna be surprised. The bass are gonna want something that doesn't make sense at all. That being said, generally speaking, this methodology works well for me. So I'm gonna take you through a couple of examples. Sorry for the noise, my son is like kicking his seat. I don't know, he's just hanging out right now. Anyways, I'm gonna take you into a couple of examples. I'm gonna talk about sun penetration, I'm gonna talk about water clarity. Then by the end of this video, hopefully you have a better idea on how to select your color jerkbait to where you're spending more time catching fish and less time fiddling with gear. Anyways, let's get right to it. Oh, before we get into the examples, I do want to point out that forage is obviously a key consideration point too. So if you've got a body of water with a ton of perch and the bass eat the perch, go with a perch color. If you got a body of water where there's a ton of bait fish and the bass eat the bait fish, go with a bait fish color. It's that simple. Anyways, let's get into the examples. Okay, how about this? Let's just do a fun little game here. We've got these are the set of conditions. Super high sun, super clear water. My friends, that is a no-brainer. When you've got high sun and clear water, you've got the most visibility you could possibly have. That means the bass obviously are going to be able to see your bait well, and they are going to want something supernatural. I like to lean heavily into like translucent colors and things that are going to be very natural to the bass, because in those situations, I don't want to get too off the wall because the fish are generally speaking going to look at your bait for a long period of time. So that's simple. Now on the flip side, let's go to the complete opposite. If it is dirty water with low light conditions, so you've got clouds and you've got dirty water, I'm gonna lean into something that's going to pop a little bit more. Something that's painted, something that's got a little bit of bright colors to it. This one, I probably would almost want something even brighter than this, but I do really like this painted color because it allows those fish to see it without that sun. It stands out a little bit more in those cloudy conditions. Now, if you've got clouds and you've got clear water, same thing. You know, you're still gonna lean on those painted colors, but you might go for something a little bit more natural. So in this case, let's say I'm fishing a body of water that has a lot of pumpkin seed and bluegill. I might lean into something like this on a cloudy day because it stands out enough and it's painted like this to where you can kind of see it still without that sun, but at the same time when they see it, it still looks natural. I'm sorry, buddy, I'm almost done. I think my son's getting restless, so that means that it's almost time to be done here. And then lastly, if we've got a high sun and dirty water, I like to lean into flashier options. The same thing applies when you have a lot of wind. I also like to lean into flashier options that allows those fish to track it a little bit better. But with that sun, it's gonna refract off of that chrome and the fish are gonna see it a little bit easier. But then they get close enough and they think, well, that looks pretty darn natural too, so they'll still eat it. So this is a great color for dirtier water because it's got that chartreuse, it's got that red, but it's also got that flash when the sun is out. Same thing with the bait I used the other day, this gold black back with that orange belly. It really stood out in those dingy conditions, so I don't think there was a better bait out there for me to use. I also am using a much larger bait in that situation because I wanted to really displace more water and allow the fish to find it. In the clear water conditions, you probably sometimes need to lean into some of the more finesse, smaller approaches, but that's another conversation for another day. Anyways, if you've liked today's video, if you like jerkbait fishing, make sure to click subscribe, stay tuned because I've got some more jerkbait content coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get back to being a dad. We'll catch you next time.